Faida number 15 from the book Ma'rakatun Nas, Battle Over the Text by Fahad al-Ajlan. So he talks about Imam Shatibee, that if there's ever a scholar during the contemporary times that has been, his works have been distorted, his opinions misread, him being hijacked, his works being misrepresented, then it is Imam Shatibee rahimahullah. We find that individuals come along and they state that, well, you see, usul al-fiqh. Usul al-fiqh is what governs our proper understanding of the Sharia. It's the mainframe, it's the algorithms that work in the background. So some have found that tinkering with the usul al-fiqh has been very difficult for them, and that's why they dislike Imam al-Shafi'i. So then they come along and they find within the works of Imam al-Shatibee that which they feel is aiding them, when in reality that is far from the truth. So they come with certain statements from Imam al-Shatibee that supposedly we need to go beyond usul al-fiqh. Our usul al-fiqh needs to be built upon and based upon maqasid of the Sharia. And then what are the maqasid of the Sharia, the higher objectives of the Sharia? Then these individuals come along and they create these different maqasid of the Sharia. For example, they state that one of the maqasid of the Sharia is freedom of choice. Excellent, sounds beautiful, walhamdulillah. But then they use this here to counter the apostasy laws. Well, no longer can we have these laws of apostasy, etc. Why? Because they go against the maqasid of the Sharia. Oh, mashallah, very beautiful. What are these maqasid of the Sharia? Well, you need to have freedom of choice and freedom of speech. And apostasy laws and blasphemy laws go against this supposed maqsid of the Sharia, and so thus they do away with it. The female wearing hijab, etc. Well, this goes against one of the higher objectives of the Sharia, which is to honor women. And so we do away with the matter of hijab. X, Y, and Z ruling of the Sharia, it goes against the maqasid of the Sharia, which is to bring ease to the people. And so we do away with this type of ruling. Riba, not having and not participating in the riba economy. This brings upon difficulty upon individuals and nations. And so this goes against the higher objective, which is to remove difficulty from the people. And so riba would be allowed because it's causing difficulty upon the people to avoid it. Allah musta'an. So these individuals, they have hijacked maqasid of the Sharia, higher objectives of the Sharia. They use it to bypass the texts of the Quran and the Sunnah. They found it to be a convenient tool, that this verse of the noble Quran and that hadith, etc. No. We're going to the higher objectives behind all of these texts, etc. And so if they find a supposed conflict between the text of the Quran and the Sunnah, and one of these higher objectives that they have created, remember, there are some maqasid which we're in agreement about, that part and parcel of the Sharia's higher objectives to protect the deen, to protect nasl, to protect your progeny, to protect your wealth. But then they create certain maqasid, and when they find a supposed conflict between that created maqasid and some of the texts of the Quran and the Sunnah, well, they do away with those texts of the Quran and Sunnah. So maqasid Sharia has been hijacked, used to bypass the text of the Quran and the Sunnah. Imam al-Shatibee himself, he has been hijacked. His works have been distorted, misread, misrepresented. And Imam al-Shatibee does not have anything like, well, you can leave the Quran and Sunnah, the texts of the Quran and the Sunnah, if it conflicts with the maqasid of the Sharia. Imam al-Shatibee does not have anything like that, Allah musta'an. So in reality, they purposefully misrepresent Imam al-Shatibee and use him as a bridge towards achieving their agendas. Allah musta'an.